We're Prevention Plus.
I'm Ray Lozano.
And I'm Brooke Romero. And today we're going to be talking to you guys about vaping.
Yeah. And we're brought to you today by the Orange County Elks Lodge, number 1475. Mm-hmm. And so we are going to be talking about a little bit about vaping today. But before we do that, a couple of questions, kind of get to know who we are a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So we get to travel a lot. We get to travel to all different states, mm-hmm. which is really great because we get to meet different people, eat different foods, you know.
Yeah.
What would you say is like one of your favorite food spots when we're traveling?
Food spots, okay. Well, I'm going to ask you the same questions afterwards, but
you better be ready then.
My favorite food spot is in San Francisco, mm-hmm. and it's a little place called House of Nanking, and it is a Chinese food restaurant. And the food is like unlike any Chinese food you have ever eaten in your entire life. Mm-hmm. Now, if we were sponsored by them, I would mention them every 2.5 minutes in these videos because the food is delicious. Now, I love Chinese food. That's my favorite type of cuisine to eat when I'm on the road. But the House of Nanking, if I was there by myself, I would like lick the plate clean because it is so good. So House of Nanking in San Francisco. What's your favorite place to eat when you're on the road?
That's a tough one because we, eat at so many great places.
Yeah, right?
But I think one of my favorite states to go to specifically for the food is Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Arkansas has so much great food, and the one place we always make sure that we hit when we're in Arkansas is a place called the Whole Hog.
Whole Hog, that's right.
And it's this barbecue place where, they've got these like smokers in the back, and you can tell they just smoke the meat for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And then I really like on the tables, they have like 6 different barbecue sauces. Mm-hmm. And so it's great because, you got the people who like the spicy barbecue sauce, and the one, who likes it a little sweeter kind of thing. And so it's just a great experience.
Oh, yeah. Whole Hog's great. And not that we're off on this whole restaurant thing, but Legacy in Columbus, Ohio. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, Legacy makes the best barbecue as well. So so whenever we're out there, barbecue right here, Chinese food right there, right? So, Brooke, what's the big thing that's going on right now with kids? What are kids really into when it comes to like the drug and alcohol scene?
Mm-hmm. Well, the big thing right now, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, is vaping. Mm-hmm. Vaping is on everybody's mind right now, pro or con. It is out there in the news. We've been doing these presentations for a long time, and throughout our history doing presentations, we'll go to schools and they'll say like, we're really having a problem with marijuana. Mm-hmm. Or we'll go to schools and they'll say, well, we're really having a problem with alcohol, or whatever kind of things it is. And then it seemed like overnight it just switched. To every single school we were going to, they were telling us we are having such a huge problem with vaping. Yeah. It is just everywhere. So that's definitely the big thing right now, and that's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about vaping, one of the questions that I get a lot of times from students is, well, isn't it better than cigarettes? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think they think it's better because there's no smoke.
Right.
Right? And you're not getting like tar and carbon monoxide in your lungs.
And everyone hears about all of those different chemicals that we've been hearing about for years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then when you smoke a flavor like caramel apple or electric bubblegum, you're like, how can this hurt you?
Right.
You know what I mean? But no, it's actually worse for your lungs. And what they're finding out is because of the vape and how it goes in, or how the moisture goes into your lungs, it crystallizes really fast inside your lungs, and it does a ton of damage. Because everybody out there watching right now has taken a real quick hot shower on a cold day, right? Mm-hmm. That's like the best. Yeah. You jump in and you jump out, right? Now when you jump in and jump out of a hot shower and it's cold outside, what happens to the mirror?
It gets foggy.
Yeah, it gets foggy, right? Now, right? And so you've taken that 2.5 hour long hot shower, right? Mm-hmm. Banging on the door, get out, right? After you take that 2.5 hour long hot shower and it's a cold day outside, what happens to your whole bathroom?
I mean, the whole bathroom is steamy.
Right?
The walls are a little bit sticky with the moisture.
Right, yeah. And there's stuff running down the mirror and it's just crazy. And so if I took 1 square of toilet paper, now follow me with this. If I took 1 square of toilet paper and I threw it at a dry mirror, okay? Completely dry, what's going to happen to that toilet paper?
It's just going to fall down.
Yeah, it's going to fall down, right? But if I take that same square of toilet paper and I throw it at a mirror after taking a 2.5 hour long hot shower, what happens now?
Then it sticks.
It sticks, right? Right. So that's what's happening to your lungs. Whenever somebody uses a e-cigarette, a Juul, or vape, it's like taking a long hot shower on a cold day because of how that moisture goes into your lungs. So it's really detrimental for the lungs. So, and so that's, you know, one of the things that we talk about. And so what do kids in high school or kids your age in the 20s, what are they thinking about vaping?
So I'm 23. I know a lot of students that we talk to, high school, middle school students, definitely think that it's safe. A lot of people my age, I think, actually are kind of in this weird middle place where we kind of know that it's not really safe, you know. There's kind of the idea that it's either for older people who are trying to quit or kind of younger people are using it. So it's kind of an interesting thing. I feel like my generation kind of missed the whole vaping craze. But I do know that, you know, I look very young. And so I think that that can help me connect with the students because when I go onto a high school campus, you know, the students look at me and I don't look that much older than them. You know, and so I can kind of talk to them and explain things to them, explain like all the different chemicals that are in e-cigarettes, explain why they're not so safe, explain all that kind of stuff. And to the students, it feels more like they're getting information from a peer as opposed to like a teacher telling them.
Hey, you kids. Well, I guess that would be me, right? Stop doing those crazy drugs. So, So I think that's one of the ways that I can be really effective with students. Ah, that's true. So yeah, you can get that across. Now, have you ever used the vape or a Juul yourself?
Thank you for that question. I get that a lot from students. I actually have not. So I come from a non-use background. Never, you know, gone excessive drinking, never smoked a cigarette, never tried an e-cigarette, never tried marijuana or any of that kind of stuff. And so it's really great because all through high school, you know, it was tough sometimes. Like I would have my friends telling me like, hey, do you want to, you know, smoke some weed kind of thing. And it was tough for me to say no, but I knew that I didn't want to do that kind of stuff. So I also feel like that can be an inspiration to the students, being able to tell them, you know, I went through high school not using drugs and alcohol. I know how tough it can be, but it definitely is possible, and it definitely is worth it.
No, that's so true. And that's so important because, you know, you always hear this about mistakes you make. Sometimes they come back and haunt you. And so you had a good friend that used, right? And then he didn't end up being successful or end up following his dream kind of thing.
Unfortunately, you know, sometimes we'll open up the presentation with this story, but man, I had a super good friend, Miguel Sanchez. And like, you know, you knew him. He was just a super cool kid. Like every adult that met Miguel was like, Miguel, you're so awesome. Like you're going to have this incredible future, you know.
Yeah, I told him that.
He was the kid that like every single other kid was jealous of him, you know. And he was doing super good all through high school, and then his senior year of high school, he started smoking weed. You know, and when I talked to him about it, he said the same thing everyone says, you know, it's not really that big of a deal. I'm just smoking like once every couple of months kind of thing. And then before I knew it, you know, he was smoking more and more and more and more. And then before I knew it, he was smoking every single day. We kind of stopped hanging out, you know, and all that kind of stuff. When he went away to college, though, you know, he was doing just okay. And then his grades started to kind of drop and drop. He started to lose interest in school. And before you knew it, you know, he was dropped out.
And I know he lost a big scholarship, right?
He had gotten a really big scholarship because he was this, like, great athlete. And yeah, he ended up giving that up.
And so that's the sad part. I think that's one of the reasons why I do this, is because just that loss of potential. Because you think whoever's watching this video right now that's in high school, and I know in high school you don't think this way, but you might be the person that's going to, you know, cure cancer. You might be the person that's going to get fresh water to a third world country or invent some new kind of energy that's going to save the planet. And I know that's out there because it's always out there in somebody, but I know that, you know, drugs and alcohol take that away from them. And so I know part of our presentation, we love to do great information, answer a whole bunch of questions, but the other part is just being inspirational and letting kids know that, like you went through high school, I went through high school, you know, without doing drugs and alcohol, and it's totally possible. And now we're here doing what we love. So be looking for us in the fall. And so the Orange County Elks Lodge, number 1475, is going to be bringing us out. talking to all the students. So when you see us in the gym, this is who we are.